Hey everybody, in this video today I'm going to be discussing theory crafting and whether Gravewell trait is worth using. I'm going to be going over my clump fights and how I've been trying to improve in clump fights and showing you some of that in OPR. I'm going to be going over some duels that I've had. I'm going to be going over how my success, or maybe lack thereof, in some of the wars that I've been doing, and then we're going to show my build and discuss what I want to improve on in the next week. Here we go, friends. Alright, the Gravewell perk, is it worth keeping on? It used to be bread and butter, but it's been nerfed a little bit. Is it still good? So I wanted to test that. And I basically compared the damage and the heals with and without the perk. I was using heavy armor for all the tests, and the trait that I had was in place of, so with the the Gravewell trait was on one piece of boots, and then I had refreshing ward on the other, so that was what I was replacing it with. Both boots at 625 gear score. This is what I found. Okay, so standing outside the Gravewell. So this is my control, standing outside the Gravewell with no trait. It did between 874 to 951 damage. Bearing in mind that a light attack hits also for about 900 damage. I got the same result when I stood inside the Gravewell with no perk, not the Gravewell trait on my perk. It hit for about 917 damage from the Gravewell. Okay, so here I put on the trait, and so we're going to test out how much damage it does with the trait. Okay, so with the perk, inside the Gravewell, the damage was, the first test was 951 damage, with 407 damage coming from the perk, so that was a total of 1358 damage. And then the second test we did was 972 damage, with 407 damage again coming from the perk, for a total of 1379 damage. So that's roughly about an increase of about 400 damage that you're getting from the perk. You also have to take into account the healing. So here's the healing here. So it pops off. So about 300 extra healing. So that is really no more than just one of the first tick of the sacred. When I did the full Mauler stack, it increased it to 100, so it was a 400 heal. So the extra heals, so basically overall you're getting an extra 300 to 400 heals and an extra 400 damage. In my opinion, even though you're giving up one piece of freedom or refreshing ward, shirking forward elemental aversion, I feel that those traits tend to be quite cumulative. So say 3 traits of freedom feels a lot better than 2, and so you're kind of having to give that up to slot in the Gravewell, and I'm just not sure it's worth it for that little bit of extra damage.
Well, no, but
okay, so last week, one of the last previous videos, I was working on improving my clump fights, and I looked at all the times that I died. I recorded every time I died, and I basically found that I was dying to either overextending or staying out for too long. So that's definitely improved my survivability a lot. So you can see here, I'm pushing out, I'm sort of safely in the heals, but I'm not being stupid about it. Once I've sort of burnt through my cooldowns, you can see I've still got my charge, and then I just charge back in. So I'm being very careful now not to stay out for too long, not to overextend, but also not to overstay my welcome. So I'm kind of feeling quite safe here because I know I just need to get through the door. I'm pushing really hard here, so it's getting danger line overextended, but you know, I can get away. So it's really helped with my survivability. So one thing I have noticed this week that I really want to work on, and I'm probably going to do that through duels, because that'll really help with that, is getting my burst combos off. Basically getting that burst damage, which is getting your burst combos off. You can see in this fight here, I get people low so many times just don't quite get over the mark. And I noticed that I give up my kills just a little too easily. I usually like let the bow people, then they try to finish people off, but it's like really, really bad because in these clump fights, I get close to killing people and then I just never quite get there. And I know that's kind of my weakness right now. That's the sort of the standout problem that I'm having. So in the next week or two, I want to duel a lot. And really, and also clump fight a lot like I'm doing here, and really work on getting those burst combos off, because at the moment I'm good at now getting those burst combos off and then getting out if I need to, so staying alive isn't really a problem so much, but getting a lot of that damage, improving the amount of damage I can lay into a group would be very, very helpful, because yeah, I'm getting so close but just not quite there. So you can see an example here, like my survivability is like really, really good. So I have this clump fight with these guys. Unfortunately, I'm sort of picking on the tank there, which is kind of dumb. But I'm also sort of semi-trying to peel for the healer here. See, I get them low. If I could really just get that burst damage laid into them, I would be able to do a lot better. But yeah. Alright. We'll leave it here. See, look at this. Boom. Oh, man. If I could have just... See, what I should have done is put them into a Gravewell, then done the detonate, then done a shockwave, and they probably would have been wiped out. So it's little things like that that I need to improve on. Alright, friends. Let's get into the duels. Alright. So I have been dueling. I've actually been finding it really hard to get into dueling for some reason. Well, actually, no, it's not some reason. I know the reason. I used to duel all the time. I got really good, and then it's just really not demoralizing, but it's hard to get over that mental mountain of like knowing you used to be able to do certain things and then just being slow and unco, and you know you're being slow and unco. But anyway, I just need to duel more and get over my silly little ego. Well, not really an ego, but just that mental hurdle. But I will. But I have dueled this week, and these are some of the duels that I had. I definitely feeling, I was dueling in heavy armor and switching to medium armor felt so much more better, so I've got myself a 625 set and I've been dueling on the medium armor. And it's really important to duel because dueling is what makes you better in everything else, right? Everything else stems from being able to duel. Dueling is going to allow you to survive in clumps for longer because you're going to be able to dodge those attacks better. You're going to see them coming. It's also going to be able to increase that burst combos that I was talking about because you're going to be able to develop what burst combos are best for killing people, and that's exactly what I need to improve this week. So, and the other thing is when I duel, I really noticed the difference. Like I really noticed the difference in OPR. So I fought this guy 3 times and won 3 times against him. The next person is, of course, Newt. Newt is a big boy bruiser. I'm having problems beating him. We had 3 fights in this little dueling session. I won 1, he won 2. This is the one I won. I was talking to Newt and I was telling him that he's quite aggressive and he reminds me of someone I used to duel called Trippy. And because Trippy was really, really aggressive, like Trippy would just, he was like the Mike Tyson of bruisers, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't like Muhammad Ali. He'd just get in your face and just go for it. So I was telling Newt just before this duel that he was like Trippy. And then when I have Newt on the ropes, he suddenly does turn into a Muhammad Ali or a rat or whatever you want to call it. But either way, he, this was the result. Anyway, we dueled 2 more times, and he won the next 2, so 3-1. He is a really, really, really good bruiser, so I know that everyone's going to be a little bit embarrassed for him that he would pull such a move. I certainly do. I'm sure Salty Seam in his guild feels a bit embarrassed, but, you know, he pulled it through in the end. He won 2. So, well done. Well done, Newt. Doing a little bit of a rap move myself right now. But this is what I mean. I kept running out of stamina this duel, so those are the little noob things that I'm doing because I haven't dueled for a bit. And then here's another good jeweler, Big Wino. He was helping me. He was helping me do the theory crafting. He's a nice guy. We used to duel ages ago, but he's carried on dueling, so he's like really good. So we had. I just won the last duel against him, and then we're having this duel, and I've noticed he's just heavy attacking me constantly. So I'm like, not used to this tactic of his. So I lose that. So I ask him why he did it, and he tells me because it's baiting out the dodge. So I think, okay, this time I'm not going to obviously full fat tactic, see if I can improve. And so yeah, I just stopped worrying about him heavy attacking me, and I made sure that this is that thing. So I'm already starting to do my stamina management a little bit better, and then I managed to actually. He's got me low, but I managed to catch him in the maelstrom and finish him off. We ended up on a 2-all. I was sort of happy to leave it a 2-all, but we decided that we'd do the decider. And so I think he got a little more sweaty at that point, and I'll let you see what the result was. So in the upcoming duels, I'm going to really focus hard on, for next week, I'm going to duel a lot more, and I'm going to really be focused hard on getting those burst combos off. That's what I want to do.
OG, bombs on the top in 3, 2, 1. Follow the Oblivions and Ice, Clint, and then declump straight away.
Okay, so this is what it's all about, improving in wars, all those clump fights and duels. This is a war that we had, and you can see that I die here, and it's basically because I'm not declumping. I'm just getting in there and staying in there. Here is another example of that, and the problem is I get in there and I stay too long, and then I have used all my consumables, and I've blown all my CDs, so I get out there, I declump, but then I go back in, and I go back in with no potions, no consumables, no CDs, so I end up paying for it. Here's an example of where I do that properly, and I actually declump, and you see, like, I easily stay alive, no problems. So OG's calling for the bomb now. So here I come in, dropping my CDs down, doing a bit of damage, and then I just back out a little bit. So plenty of health up, and nice. And here's an example that if you have your consumables, you can sort of allow yourself to get a little caught out because you can usually get out of it. So here, this is not really I don't think this is entirely my fault. I'm trying to make my way over to them over there, but then all their team sort of rushes in at the same time and I get caught in it. But luckily I have my cleanse spot up, right? So I'm getting a lot of CCs. My health is low, but I can pop that cleanse spot and then get out quite easily to the heals, and then I get out there nice and safely. Of course, it's sort of like, with more experience, you'll know, like, here we're got a lot of heals on the ground and we're clearly winning that fight, so it's sort of safe. This was the last battle for A before we pushed into the fort. So this was kind of like an important fight to win. So our ball is beating their ball, so even though I've used all my consumables up, I still have my healing potion, and it was really important to stay on so we could cap it, which we do right there. Okay, so when everyone was positioned, we start our last push to try to claim the fort. So this is that fight. This is complete chaos. So I'm fighting there. I've still got one consumable up. So I'm in a good position right now. I can sort of stay in the fight. I've still got a healing potion I can use and an oak flesh bum. So OG's saying declump, so I'm kind of pulling back there, so I did the right thing, letting my cooldowns come down. I'm making my way back to our raid leader OG. So I sort of get caught fighting these guys, but that was too much of a good opportunity to give up. So just working on these guys on the stairs, but I really need to get back to OG. So as he says declump, I kind of push back down to him, getting ready for the next push in. So now all my consumables are up, so I'm dropping all my consumables. We're going for the final push to clear up the point. And you can see that because I have those consumables, I'm not under any really pressure. But I would like to get my again, that burst damage up so I can kill more people while we're in the clumps. I feel like that's my weakness. Alright, here's the medium armor build that I've been using in OPRs and duels. If you want the full builds and a bit of a breakdown, I have done a build video recently, so use that. It's the same gear. But I'm on 300 con, 200 strength. And yeah, and so the gear that I'm using is, this is my Warhammer, Sundering, Shockwave, and a Boreal Attunement, and the important ones. The Plague Crits was the third trait, which I thought was quite a nice one to have with a Warhammer. And then with the Great Axe, I'm using Enfeebling Maelstrom and Thwarting Strikes, which are the two important traits to have. And then I'm using Keenly Jagged just as a little bit of damage to it. I'm using all Punishing Rune Glass Gems, and then I'm using Opals on the weapons. And I have... I'm using Elemental Aversion on medium armor. I don't think Shirking Fort is worth it, so I've put everything into physical, so 10% thrust damage, because I don't find bows too much of a problem. I'd never like chased around the open field anyway, and then 35% damage for slash damage, because that's the biggest amount of damage I'll be taking. I have 5 resilience. I believe I have 4 or 5 refreshing ward. That's 2, 3, yeah, 5 refreshing ward, because I have 2 on my jewelry. And then I have 5 resilience, and I believe I have 3 freedom. 3 freedom. Yep, and then I have 5 elemental aversion. And this is, oh no, sorry, 4 elemental aversion. And this is what I mean, I've been able to replace, not use that Gravewell, right? Perk. So that's given me more space to have those really important traits like elemental aversion, refreshing ward, and all that. So this is the gear that I'm running on the medium armor. And then for the jewellery, I'm using slash protection, health, and the refreshing ward for the amulet. I'm using slash damage and invigorated punishment. They're 2 important traits here, and I'm just using leechings. That helps a little bit because you don't need the extra stamina as medium. And then I'm using refreshing ward, refreshing toast, and regenerated. The reason I have dexterity on it is because this allowed me to get this ring for like 3k gold, and it's not like you need the extra 10 dex, because when you're full 16 and 5, you can still go 300 con, 200 strength, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm using Detonate at the moment for my Major Heart Rune. So hopefully that, oh, and then the skills, sorry. Let's do that real quick. Don't worry about this. This was just me testing on heavy armor, so it's spit out. It's 300 con, 200 strength. I'm just going to quickly show you. You guys can just memorize it, and then, yeah, that's the Great Axe. Maulers Fury is obviously the important one, so memorize that. And then for Warhammer, that's the Warhammer. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm quite happy with this video. I feel like there's a lot that we covered, from wars to duels to clump fights to like theory crafting. So I'll definitely be doing more of this style of videos. So if you like it, you know what I'm going to say. Subscribe, be my friend. Thanks everyone. See you later.